Hello guys, welcome back to the Chelsea Godfather channel. It's the Chelsea Godfather reporting back to duty. Please subscribe to my channel for regular Chelsea updates. Chelsea won, Arsenal won. Chelsea won, Arsenal won at the bridge. Massive game. Massive game. The 1 point keeps us, we actually gained, I believe entering today we were in 6th place. The top of the league, well, apart from Liverpool on top. Everybody else is so congested, especially after from 3rd down to 15th is congested. And we were, I believe we were in 6th place entering with 18 points. So this 1 point literally just shot us right up the table from 6th to 3rd on goal difference. It basically, both us and Arsenal basically shared the spots, one point each. Arsenal, we were in 6th or 5th, I can't remember, but either way, Arsenal is we're in 3rd, Arsenal is in 4th. We're both tied at 19 points, and I think Forest is still hanging around. Forest is in 5th place. They also have 19 points as well after they lost today 3-1 at home against Newcastle. But let's talk about our game. Game against Arsenal, you guys already know it's going to be a rough one. I mean, the last time that we played Arsenal in the league, they just utterly destroyed us and left us for dead. 5-0 away at Emirates, and we've had that bad taste in our mouth. I've certainly had the bad taste in my mouth throughout summer all the way. I mean, I'm still feeling that bad taste. So we were looking forward to this game and trying to find a way to see, obviously, measure ourselves from last season. We already know that we're a much better team this season than we were last season, not just based on the players that we have acquired for the team, but also based on the way our team plays, right? And just the overall productivity of the team. So this game, I was always looking forward to this game in terms of to measure ourselves against Arsenal. Given that in fairness to Arsenal, they've been in the Premier League title race for the last 2 seasons. I really should have won it at least one of those 2 seasons, but both times they came up short against City. So this is always going to be a difficult challenge for us. For me, I'm like a draw. I was always going to see a draw as a good point. In as much as a Chelsea fan, we want to beat Arsenal. We really want, but sometimes you just have to keep it real and understand where you are, right? The main issue is that we drop points elsewhere. It's not this draw is not a bad result. It's the fact that we drop points. We drew 1-1 at home with Forest. We drew 1-1 at home with Crystal Palace. Those were games that we should have picked up 3 points, at least one out of those 2 games. So, but in any event, when the lineups came out, obviously the number one talking point from a Chelsea fan perspective is the fact that Reece James, our skipper, was left out of the lineup. He was left on the bench, and I kind of had an idea why, because Gusto is in tip-top shape. He's fit. He's physically fit. He's pacey. He has pace to burn, and stamina, all that. He's just all over the place. But in terms of overall quality, right? Overall quality of play, James is obviously a much better player than Gusto. But against Arsenal, playing against players like Martinelli, right, and Saka, and all these kind of, obviously wingers that have a lot of pace, skill, and they are quality wingers, it would have been a little bit too much for James to have started the game, and so that's the reason why he was left on the bench. So the game started off fast. It started off wild. Palmer seemed like he might have had one of those crazy goals early in the game. He had that shot from that strike from distance, about 30 yards out, drew a save from Raya. And finessed to Raya had it covered. Then after that, it just appeared that we conceded the midfield to Arsenal. Now I don't know whether is that by a design, or in other words, is that Maresca playing a little more conservatively, which is usually not his preferred mode of operation, or is it just the fact that Arsenal just kind of beat us to the midfield battle? I feel like it's more or less it's a bit of both. I mean, Arsenal battled very well in midfield with Declan Rice and Partey, right? And then of course the introduction, if you want, reintroduction, if you call it that, if you want to call it that, basically their main man, Odegaard, back in the game, in the starting lineup. Odegaard was the difference maker. Odegaard was the most effective player on the pitch, definitely from Arsenal's side. He did a lot of good things. I mean, apart from his the brilliant assist that he had, his overall movement in during just off the ball kind of helped Arsenal to control the game the way that they wanted to control it, and we just kind of had to try our best to contain what they were doing, and a lot of that is just really due to Odegaard's play. And then from our side, I felt like, right, again, I understand the reasoning behind starting Caicedo and Lavia, but especially after the first half, I felt like at halftime, Maresca should have just brought on Enzo Fernandez at halftime because it was obvious that creative wise we lacked a creative spark from midfield. We needed a little something, just like Arsenal had Odegaard. We didn't have that guy. Now that I guess that guy should have been called Palmer. But Palmer was missing in action. I mean, in fairness to him, he did the best that he could, but he was not an influence in this game at all. He was not an influence, and I think part of it, a good chunk of it, is due to the fact that Arsenal as a team defended very, very well. Arsenal defended very well as a team. There's some counter attacks that we've had against other teams not named Arsenal that we either scored or created like really good scoring chances. But again, in this game, we had a few. We didn't have a lot, but we had a few counters. But we weren't able to free up Palmer and some of the other players like Nani, who normally help us to score in transition. Then the other point I note is Pedro. Again, Pedro was on our side. He was our best player. He was definitely on the attacking, the offensive part of the game. Pedro was definitely one of our best players. We just again, it was kind of an odd game, 50-50. You could tell that it was a tie game. It was a bit of it had that a big game feel. Nobody wanted to make a mistake, and eventually in the second half, Lavia lost the ball. I haven't rewatched the play, but so I don't know whether I think he may have tried to make a pass and it was picked off, or something, but it came from his fault, and it was again their goal came a little bit against the run of play. Lavia lost it in our half, and one pass, whether from Saka to Odegaard, somebody got the ball to Odegaard, and you guys already know Odegaard is the player is very sharp. If you're open, he's going to find you, and that's exactly what he found. He found Martinelli on the far post. I mean, everybody. I expected perhaps Sanchez was expecting Martinelli to curl the ball to the far corner, because that's what he usually does. I've seen a lot of Arsenal games at goals, and when he scores, that's how he usually scores. But this time he brilliantly really squeezed the ball just in the near post. I mean, obviously when you watch it on replay, right? Sanchez does not come out looking good. It looked like he left too much space, right? He left too much space, and that's why the ball went in. Had he not left as much gap as he left, it wasn't a lot of gap, but it was a lot of gap for a player like Martinelli. Again, Arsenal has quality players, and if you leave little gaps, they're gonna do their best to execute. And so that goal, for me, the fault is 50% on Lavia, 50% on Sanchez, right? So then at that point, right, then that's when, again, recall I mentioned that for me, Enzo should have come in at halftime, but in typical fashion, we waited till it went down 1-0, and that's when Maresca dialed up the change, brought in Enzo, took out Lavia, and it was actually Enzo's pass to Pedro that actually led to our one and only goal to equalize the game. It was a brilliant pass. He noticed Pedro making an off the ball run into the channel just in front of their defense line. That channel really should have been picked up, should have been marshaled by a defensive midfielder, perhaps Partey, but there wasn't anybody in the channel, and you can't give Pedro that amount of space. When he strikes the ball, his ball usually goes low, like hard and low. That's just Pedro, and thankfully it was hard, low, and away from the goalie's reach. 1-1. I thought that we were gonna kick on from there. We went on ahead and brought in James off of the bench. In the time being, Cucurella did a massive job. Again, one of the best players on the pitch was Cucurella. He just one-on-one, he basically locked down Saka all day, and eventually pretty much had him marked out of the game, and Saka had to be subbed off. It is what it is. It's not anything new. If you watch the Euros, you watch Spain versus England, the Euros, you already saw, just a few months ago, Cucurella locking down Saka on the left wing. So that was expected. Okay, so again, the game eventually ended 1-1. Again, just one more thing before I sign off is I just want to give a big kudos to our captain on the day, Caicedo. He was just quietly had another massive game in our midfield, protected everything that he could protect. Nothing got by him late in the game. He was flying around winning balls, and eventually again helped us to hold on to the 1-1 draw. It's for me, it's a good point. Remember, I mentioned the draw is not a bad result. The bad result is the other points that we dropped, the 2 and 4 points we dropped prior to this game. And so going into the international break, we got it will be 2 weeks off for international break. Chelsea has 19 points. We're in third place on the league, 9 points away from Liverpool. And in fairness to Chelsea, title race was never part of our objectives going into this season. Our primary objective is finishing top 4, qualifying for Champions League after having missed out the last 2 years. So fans, guys, listen, let us not get distracted. If any title race happens, it is what it is. It's Jada on top. It's Jada on top if there's a title race. But for me, right now, let's stay focused on the initial plan, which is trying to hang around and be top 4 so we can be in Champions League next season. How do you guys feel about today's 1-1 draw at the bridge against Arsenal? Leave your comments below. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Up the Chels. Peace.